positive surgeon, cosmic force, the emergence, brain of eternal, hands on my time, impossible prince can God watch you step in the mind, soul triggers, power holy divine righteousness, combined with courage, love of essence. Don't let trauma bind up block your blessings. When you behind the veil, you hear the confession, give you limitation, corruption, fear, deception. This the age of knowing, evolution and resurrection. Welcome back with another episode of Talk That Crap. Today we're going to have an amazing conversation today. We're going to be talking about worlds within worlds. And we understand worlds in which we live in. We call it planet Earth, planet Kai, Turtle Island. They're called all of these different names, yet we're still in a world. We also have different aspects of the world in which we see the world. And that correlates to our reality in which we have conception of the world, our identity with the world, what happens with our inner worlds, what happens in our mental worlds, worlds within worlds, within worlds, within worlds. And there's so many things that connect our worlds together. Our food, the energy, we talking about different meditations, we talking about yogi, qigong, any type of disciplinary action. That there's all different ways that you're expressing your world. So we're going to start off by just talking about inner worlds. You know, how are you with your inner worlds? Do you recognize your inner worlds? Because again, as I stated, we live here on what we call Earth, Kai, Turtle Island. Some call it Atlantis. Who knows what it is? What we do know, that we live on a world. And in our world, we're able to see other planets within that galactic system. So also in our inner worlds, what does that mean to us? There's a inner world that connects emotions, images, ideology, belief. All of those things are affected by your inner world. And what is the greatest way that our world, our inner worlds, how we become more aware? We become more aware through our internal dialogue. What it is that we say to ourselves internally. What is it that we feel internally? In spite of what the faces we may show other people, what are we really feeling that moment in that inner world? Worlds within world. Your inner world, your internal dialogue is a world where no one else have access to. So if you're having a bad day, the only way that we know you're having a bad day is you expressing it through facial expression, through attitude, through action. Maybe you drinking, maybe you smoking, maybe you doing some other type of drugs. Maybe you just going out and you're fornicating with anybody. You may have in your world, it may be anything that you're doing to not realize what's happening in your internal world. What are you saying to yourself every day, all day in your internal world? Your internal world. What do you say constantly? Because it's a you're talking about a conversation that you actually have with yourself throughout the day, and most people don't even realize they're actually having a conversation through themselves. Don't you know when you're sitting around and you say, "What do I want to eat today?" and then your mind start telling you different things that you possibly want to have to eat today? That's happening inside of your inner world. What are you aware of inside of your inner world? Because these worlds affect us physically, emotionally, spiritually. These inner worlds. Your chakra is also your chakra system. That's also an aspect of worlds. They say seven wheels of light. Those also take you into seven different heights of consciousness. Those are different worlds. Your level of consciousness from an old way of thinking to a new paradigm and a new shift is an influx of energy and understanding in your inner world. It's your inner world. You may not pay your inner world any attention. You may give your inner world up to distraction. It does not take away from what's happening inside of your inner world. Sometimes you find yourself frustrated all the time, and you cannot figure out why you're frustrated all the time because you don't understand the parameters of what's happening within inside of your inner world. What is it that you're saying to yourself? What is it that you're feeling? What is it that you're thinking? What is it to have a full-fledged thought and conversation in your mind and you are unaware of what's happening? Now that's powerful. Your actions that you take involves your inner world. Your inner world also comes from your core values. You say, well, I may not know my core values. Just watch your inner world. Your inner world going to tell you what your core values are because your habits in your daily life going to tell you what your daily life is like. If you have a bad attitude, then people going to let you know you have a shitty attitude. All of these things are happening within your inner world. If you're having bad relationships, you may want to check your inner world. Maybe you have a fear. Now understand, when you have certain desires and ideology, sometimes the magnetic propel each other. It's not a magnetism that draws you closer to it. It's something that actually propels it. It pushes you further and further away. So in your inner world, you have to be aware of what it is that you're attracting to yourself, because you may be attracting the opposite in what you truly desire based upon the mental frequency that you hold on a daily basis. And it's a habitual frequency. It's like tuning into a station. You know, whether I'm here in South Carolina, so it's the big DM, that 101.3. That's one of the stations that's here. And that station is probably one of the strongest stations in the area because a lot of the surrounding areas still pick up that particular station. So the broadcast frequency is strong within your inner world. Again, these are things that are happening within your inner world. We live on a planet that has countries and states and capitals and culture all over the world. All over the world. We have all of these things. So the inner worlds that are happening, they're happening all the time. And scientists said, the hell, we 95% empty atoms. So what the matter come from? In our inner world. So in our inner world, we believe something at such a high frequency that it becomes reality. Huh. So I believe in this phone. Huh? In my inner world, I got to, because I'm in here speaking on a cell phone, and I'm projecting this reality that I'm sitting on here on a cell phone with this lighting behind me talking about inner worlds. So yes, it has to be true, unless this wouldn't be happening. And inside of your inner world is for you to be not only aware and observe what's happening in your inner world, is for you to understand the creation within your inner world. A world in which you understood where creation first came from. You, in your inner world, you connect your immortality. In your inner world, you realize that there's a divine consciousness, a great consciousness that that it is beyond our self-expression. I don't have the words to even express what that is. Every time I go to find a word to express it, it's like I'm doing a disservice to the edification of what that consciousness is, because it's divine consciousness, but then we have such a limited perspective on divinity, to where you may be looking at this divine consciousness lopsided. You may be looking inside of your inner world in ways of where you're looking to fix something that must be harmonized. You must be in harmony with it. So a lot of times when we're dealing with our inner world, we're dealing a lot of time with just the reaction and the effects of things. Because in our inner world, if we're truly true to our inner world, then a lot of things that we do wouldn't do, and a lot of emotions that we feel we will heal from. A lot of time in our inner worlds, some people don't even know in the depth of which they need healing. Some people have picked up programming for 20, 30 years, and now all of a sudden they want to make a change in their life, and it's so difficult because of what their internal world constructed of. The construction of their internal world is their philosophy, their ways of belief, their ways of seeing, their ways of understanding, their ways of learning, their ways of change and transmutation and change. All that happens inside of the inner world. No one outside of you can do anything for you within you. You have to do it. You are the world that needs changing. People always say, I want to change the world. I want to change the world. Well, the old folks said the change always start with you. So if you want to change your world, change your inner world. What would you like to project in your inner world? What would you like to conceive in your inner world? What would you like the frequency to be like in your inner world? Is it a place of harmony and peace, or if it's frustration and aggravation and confusion? It is a place of opportunity and creativity, or is it in a place of doubt and I'm not sure and being pessimist? You're living in memory. You know, the one thing I'll say in our inner worlds too, we have to be careful that in our inner worlds we're not living through memory. It's okay to have a memory. It's okay to reflect back on some things. You don't want to catch yourself living in a memory. I came up with a joint a long time ago where I always had to qualify my memory. So if that memory was not enhancing to my life, if it was not empowering me in any way, if I didn't receive a lesson or understanding from that memory, I transmuted it till I found the origin of where it came from. I transmuted it and did away with it. And still to this day, I still do that. I still qualify my memory. I qualify my thoughts. I weaponize my thoughts. In my inner world, I had to weaponize my thoughts because my thoughts were being overtaken and manipulated by external stimuli. And I didn't understand what that meant how that affected my inner world. Whether it was the food that I was eating, the people that I was around, the jobs that I may have, the habits that I've had, the thinking that I've had. All of those things had to be changed within my inner world for me to understand that there's something not only greater, there's a harmony that takes place within that greatness. And it's us, our ability to connect with it and within our inner world for you to know and recognize that inner strength, that divine place of peace. Not to go look for it, not to do anything for it. No creed, no person, no nothing. Just you. Just you honoring your own mind, soul. To honor your soul is a reverence of life. And what it is to give reverence to your inner world. What is it to give reverence to your emotions? What is it to give reverence to your thoughts? How powerful that is for you to revere the very thing, your very actions, your interaction. What is it, fellas, in your inner world? What is it to revere a woman in her divine state? Not you looking at what you can get from her, not looking at what she can do for you, not looking at the sexual gratification that you get from her. I'm saying, my brothers, what happens when you look at her and what you see as a divine goddess? Someone you bow down to and you give honor and reverence to. What happens when you see your woman in that light? You couldn't treat her in the way that you do. You would have to treat her in the principles and the values of what it is to honor and revere a divine queen, a divine goddess. What happens when you look at your children and you see divine souls versus telling them to get over there and do this? And well, how is your interaction with your children? How is it creating and sculpting their inner world? Hmm? Especially when you're dealing with kids. So there's a lot happening within our inner worlds that either you affect the world or the world affects you. There's only two things that can happen. You go out and you give your will to the world, not receive the will of others. You know, in Gnosticism, they always talk about the will, and you don't use the will to prey on others. You know, someone that used their will to pray, that energy will come back to them full fledged because they're doing it out of arrogance and they're doing it out of manipulation and control. When you raise to a certain level of power, a certain level of love, a certain level of understanding, inside of your inner world, everything everything influx at such a degree where you're never looking outside for any validation for anyone or anything. There's nothing that you're going to ever lack. Even if you think it's lack, remember you are the frequency that had the thought. So in your inner world, you're creating images, feelings, thoughts, and ideas that validate the lack. So when people said, I'm broke, I'm this, and that they speaking all in such lower form, it's all because they don't recognize their own divinity. If they would speak in the place of power. They would speak in the place of abundance. They would speak in the place of prosperity. They would speak it in the now, right here, in your inner world, before it ever gets to your external world. They say from the inner comes the outer, not the outer to the inner. That's why your inner world, that's why they corrupt your inner worlds so hard. That's why they attack it so much through all of the imagery and the symbols and the sounds and the foods. They want to corrupt your internal world because they know in that internal world, when you wake up to a world that's yours and you are the creator of that world, yeah, there's no stopping that. You are the creator of your own world. Just because you work with some people or around people that have a different attitude than yours, raise your vibration to a place where after a while those people will disappear. They'll disappear. You may still see them here and there, but they will not be with you at the magnitude on which you have to vibrate from, because you're raising your level of frequency, you're raising your vibration. In the Kabbalion, I think they said, and I'm paraphrasing, please don't quote me word for word, but I'm paraphrasing, and I think they said like energy, vibration, and frequency is in direct effect of reality. Vibration and frequency is direct effect of reality. So the thing that you feel, the thing that you vibrating on, the thing that you're setting that internal station to, that becomes your reality. That's why when some people have a bad day and they can start having a bad day and that bad day will be all day to have a bad night. Why? Because that's what's emanating within their inner world. That's what they're vibrating on. That's their source of energy, is to vibe on that place. And if it's in your inner world, you know the world it has to affect next. It has to affect your mental world. When your mental world is affected, oh Lord. And let's just say for someone like myself who has battled depression, been through depression, and came out of depression, and that depression was about 10 years, but no one knew I was depressed. I drink liquor heavy, beer heavy, and I smoked I don't know a shit total on goddamn marijuana. That my mental world was was in a disarray. It was in straight chaos. There was no clarity. There was no understanding. In my mental world, when your mental world is shattered, is your inner world has to follow. So the mental and the emotional world, your inner world, they're all one. That's why I'm saying we in worlds within worlds within worlds. We haven't getting into the galactic worlds. We're just talking about the basics of understanding your inner world and your mental world. Before we even go cosmic, I'm just gonna give you the basics. So from your inner world, you're dealing with your emotions. You're dealing with your a realization of what's happening with you emotionally, psychologically. We go into the mental world. In the mental world, you're faced with what's really happening within your mind, the function that happens in your mind. In your mental world, all things happen first in the mind. In the Kabbalion, it says the all is mind, the universe is mental. I use this reference of the Kabbalion many, many, many times because it's a simple fundamental seven that you understand. And if you understand that seven, you can look around the world, you can look into any aspect of spiritual occult literature, and you will find that seven within it. I promise you. So in our mental world, the creation of what we call life happens there first in your mental world. It is a formulation of what's happening within your psyche, what's happening with your unconsciousness, combined with frequency, vibration, ideas, and beliefs. All of those things are happening within your mental. Now, can your mental world be changed? Yes, your mental world can be changed because, again, I went through a state of depression. Why was I depressed? I was depressed just because I hated life. I didn't have a joy about life. You know, when again, when your mental world is shattered, when your mental world are shattered, it's difficult for you to have any type of understanding or clarity. It's just something that you're lost to. You're lost to the anger and the hate. And that's what I was lost to. So my mental world was consumed with anger and hate. So there was a lot of fighting in my life. There was a lot of trouble that I got into because it was easier to just release that anger upon someone else in a fight than it would to be to hold it in. So I would look for ways to fight. And that also happens within what they call the pain body. The pain body is something that arises just to get a fix, like a dope fiend, like literally. So let's just say you have a problem with snapping off and going off on someone, and that's something that you've been working on for a while, and you haven't done it for let's say 2 months. You haven't done it for 2 months, and then all of a sudden, someone tick you off and you go off. And I'm talking about you go off. And you go off so hard, and everybody looking at you like you crazy. And they're like, why you went off so hard? It's because you suppressed something that was in you, so you focusing on not going off. What you focus on or healing versus not going off. Focus on the origin of the trigger that made you go off. Those are mental pathways that you can actually discover and observe so you can find out where mentally it affects you at and why does it affect you in the way that it does. Because in your mental world, everything happens there first. If you have an idea, it's got to come through the mind first. You have to see and feel it. You got to hear the name of it. There's things are happening within our worlds, within our inner worlds, within our mental worlds. There are things that are happening with us. We have to be aware of what's actually taking place. Some good water. So in our mental worlds, we must become very aware of what's happening within our inner world. If you are a person that's dealing with stress or frustration, admit your stress and frustration and then begin to have practices that allow you to release, confront, and overcome or transmute. I wouldn't say overcome, transmute. We want to change the frequency of that particular idea and emotion. So this is the most important time of your life for you to realize what's happening within your mental world. Do you have doubt that you have carried with you because of something happened when you were 15 years old? Do you have a shy of speaking in front of people because you made a mistake at one time when you had a public speaking engagement? I know I have. I messed up royally in a speaking engagement one time. It didn't stop me from, coming back and speaking again. Things happen. You grow from it. Again, the memory. What are you qualifying your memory? Does the memory that you're actually giving attention and intention to, is it valuable in your life? Does it enhance your life in any way? Is there any lesson that you learning from it? Or what can you retract from that benefits you? If there's nothing that you can retract from that, there's nothing that you can gather from that memory, you should let that memory go. You should find the origin of why that image is to what it is, those memories of what it was. Where is the origin of that feeling and emotion and that perspective that you have about that memory? Why do you have it? Where did it come from? When you begin to ask yourself these questions, you begin to allow the mind to reveal itself to you. The problem is a lot of time most people don't want their mind to be revealed because they know they have to make drastic changes immediately. So some people in their inner world, and their spirit shows with them, shares with them, show them. They put them in front of people, show them different aspects of life, and say this could be your life. It would take consistently, and you do this over time, and you will achieve this. And most people say, "Yeah, but I'm working and I'm tired, and I don't know. I don't have time to read. I barely have time for my children. I don't have time to read for myself." So they come up with all these different excuses in the mind, which equates to a frequency and a vibration to your internal world, your inner world. And so now those things take place because you're affirming to your inner world what it is you're not doing by emotion, feelings, idea, and belief to your internal world. Mentally, it's what you're saying to yourself. So you're building a mental model of what it is that you hold in your world to be true, to be impactful in your life or to others. Again, if in your inner world you're not doing the things that beneficial for you, that means your mental state is not beneficial for you. That means your mental world is out of orbit and chaos. It could be out of balance. It could be anything. There's not a right and wrong way. It's just to understand where you are and how you're going to where you're going to. And why is that possible? And how is that possible? It's because of your mental world, your inner world, worlds within worlds. And it affects your everyday life. See, you put those together. Your inner world is your mental world, and your mental world is your inner world. There's no separation from that. Those are worlds within worlds. Now, when we're talking about the eating world, a world of which we consume food, that's a whole world within itself. Because that's a world of where you can learn to take care of yourself health wise, or you can follow the death plan of America. And then you probably going to be obese, high blood pressure, out of weight, and sometime if you're not careful, develop some type of disease. That's the world that we live in when it comes to health. So what's your health world like? Do you take care of yourself? Do you walk? Do you yoga? You run, meditate? What's that like? What's your health world? Do you juice? Do you detox? Do you fast? Like, what is that like for you? It's the most important part is for you to know, really know who you are in this process of evolution. The energy is here now. It's coming. We are celebrating the spring equinox today. This is a renewal. This is the spring coming in, addressing itself, saying, "Hey, I'm about to pop out." What is your renewal when it comes to your inner world? What does it mean to you in your mental world in the spring equinox in 2025? This is the most beautiful moment in life. Well, what's happening within your inner world? Are you making a correlation to what's happening in the stars that's happening within you? Because we are in worlds within worlds within worlds within worlds within worlds. That's what we are. We are interplanetary beings, which means that we reside on a plane. But there are also life outside of this plane. There's life in the inner world, in the inner earth. There's life in the inner earth. We living in a world within a world because the inner earth is a world. That's why they got to block off at Antarctica. You can't get through. That's why they got to block off at the Grand Canyon. That's why you can't get through. Why do they have military interaction at places or where it can something can be revealed? Why is that? Why all of these countries all around the world spend so much time down in these areas? Because we in a different world. There, there, there are worlds within yourself. You can travel interstellar within and not ever leave planet Kai. You can astral project. You can hop in your Macabre. You can do remote viewing. There's so many different aspects of world in which you can visit. I've been on the astral plane for many, 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 many years. To all my family, I know what planet they went to, what plane they on. Yeah, all of that. Because we're just living in a small fraction of what reality really is. Sometimes I may go outside and quote unquote see a huge cloud over my house. There was a cloud outside of my house the other day, and it was as big as a city. Oh, it looked like it was a city. So we are in we're in worlds where the veil is being lifted. We're in a place where now you're being able to see. Now the lies that we were once taught, now those lies are being debunked. The truth is coming up. They say they declassifying. Well, I hope the Vatican declassifies some of their hidden knowledge that they have under there. That would be wonderful, you know, to get some of those old knowledge to be coming back. But we talking about worlds. The mycelium, if you're into shrooms and psychedelic, when you take the shrooms, you enter a different world. I'm a person that partake in medicinal practices, and so yeah, once you step into that world, everything else is altered. You change, you move, you go from one aspect of life to another instantly, and what you're able to understand and remember, you bring back with you. If you go outside and you say, "Oh, I see a star," and that star started to move, that's not a star. Stars don't move like that. If I'm watching a star and it go into a cloud in the early a.m., we talking around about 6 in the morning, 5:40, well, about 6:30, where you see a star and it goes inside this cloud and then disappear. Where are we? Vortex and portals, we be traveling. You have inner vortex and portals within you right now. You have to enter them. It's up to you to realize that you are the portal, you are the gateway. You're the key and the gateway. You're the key and the gateway. It's your level of vibration, it's your level of frequency, it's the station that you tune into. If you know that you are immortal and you are actually accessing your immortality, then yeah, there are things that you're probably going to be able to do and see and understand versus someone who's stuck in just their humanity. I'm not saying I'm not experiencing humanity. I'm saying there's a recognition of divinity there. And in that particular world, beyond this world, I'm way more than what you see as the flesh, what you see as impossible. That's only one aspect of me. Y'all, if y'all hear anybody hollering in the background, that's my youngest grandson. He's Trey. And he like to always talk a lot when I'm on a podcast. But hey, kids gonna be kids, and I love them for all being themselves. But can't be nobody else but you. So these worlds within worlds, how do we travel within these worlds? There's many different ways. You got transcendent meditation. You can learn astral travel. There's a there's a good book called Astrodynamics by Robert Bruce, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at that correct. Yeah, Robert Bruce, and he gives you a step by step of how you can actually astral travel, how you can move from one plane to another. They even have a show, what is called His Dark Material. They show you the planes stacked on top of one another, where they were entering vortexes and portals just by entering phone booth and different areas of life, and they was going to on a whole new plane. There were people that had these, you know what I'm saying, special abilities with their what they call the demon, which is nothing but your animal nature. So they showing the animal nature and they showing the divinity. They showing it to you as in signs and symbols within the worlds in which we're in. So in the world with you're in, the world within worlds, nature outside is a world of its own. When you go outside and you witness nature, you're witnessing the divine. You're witnessing the harmony of that divinity. Nature does not fight with itself. It is. And whatever nature going to do, that's what it's going to do. It doesn't need your permission and it does not care. So in your world within worlds, what is it that you are actually experiencing within harmony? How does it affect your world? If we all know that we are cosmic beings and we are living on a planet in a cosmos, which means we cannot be the only people in a cosmos. That's just stupid to believe. If you're that dumb to believe humanity is the only people in the cosmos or the most intelligent people in the cosmos, you're really dumb if you believe that. So we live within worlds. There are aspects of worlds which we have to understand and accept at the highest level of what love is. See, all of these worlds are created by love, created through love. But we don't know that because they have manipulated love on this particular plane within this world. So now when you're looking up and you go outside and you see birds or you see a dog or a squirrel or a lion, you just look at them as just animals. If you look up the spiritual nature to some of these things, you can understand your world more. So there are animal totems. There was I think I read something a long time ago that they're talking about there are no Africanless totems. I don't remember the name of the book, but anyway, the book was about everybody have a totem. What is your animal totem? What does that mean to you? Don't make me lie and say what the name of the book is because I don't remember. and I don't want to be sitting here misquoting it. But anywho, it dealt with you understanding your totems. So there are a couple totems that have been with me for many, many years. There has been new totems that came upon even this year. There has been new totems that came about. So look around, look around your world, look within your worlds, your mental states, your world. That's where you are. There's no denying it. There's no, how you say it. We cannot. Uh, what I'm having a brain freeze at the end right here. I'm having a brain freeze. We ain't no debate in it. There are no. We can't argue about it. Oh, I had a brain fart. I can't believe it. Right at the end too. So with these worlds within worlds within worlds within worlds, because that's what we live in. Worlds within worlds within worlds. We live in worlds in our internal world. That's a world where you self-talk. Your mental world is where you think and have conception of reality. And there are worlds within the cosmos in which we exist, floating in right now. Floating in right now. There are galaxies merging with the Milky Way. The Andromeda galaxy is merging with the Milky Way right now to become an even greater galaxy. You mean to tell me in the Andromeda system there are no life forms? Huh. I got a feeling we about to find out sooner or later within these worlds, within worlds, that we got some otherworldly beings out here. Because we are otherworldly beings. And we have to state the fact that we are otherworldly. And know that you have a divine consciousness that dwells within you. That's the world that you should be living in. You live in that divinity, live in that world of divinity, live in that world of reverence and understanding and knowing. How powerful would it be to just revere those you love, to honor them in such a way, in such a magnitude that it makes you stop and just, man, it's the most wonderful experience that you can have. You should have it. It's yours. You deserve it. Don't let nobody tell you you don't deserve it. World within world. We are in worlds within worlds. Don't let them just shrink what they tell you about this world, about these planets and Pluto and Saturn. Those are just planets within the solar system. We just had a planetary parade that opened up a whole new world. A whole new world. Now we're in a whole different space and time that we have never experienced before. We're in a whole different world. We in this spring equinox right here, 2025. We're in a whole new world. In your new world, in your world within world, in your mental world, in your inner world, what will you do? How will it affect you? And what will you create through love and through will? What will you create? Because it's the best thing you can do is utilize your inner worlds for the betterment of mankind. Not just for the betterment of yourself, but the betterment for mankind. Do better for yourself. And because you do better for yourself, you can help others to be better as well. And with that, peace, love, prosperity.
A lot of haters observe, but not to support, to discourage. Vision so passionate, it's disturbing. Create a rise, always positive surging. Cosmic folks see emergence. Brain of eternal, hands on my time. Impossible prince can God watch you step in the mind. Soul triggers, power, holy divine righteousness. Combined with courage, love of essence. Don't let trauma bind and block your blessings when you behind the